All right, boys. So we have some bad news on the front of the League of Legends Esports Manager game. For those of you who don't remember, I had previously just been very excited because there was this new game that Riot announced during their 10-year anniversary about 21 days ago, 3 weeks ago, where they were announcing a League of Legends Esports Manager. Now, I took that in the idea that this is going to be a football manager style game, a sports management game with an emphasis on building teams and, winning LCS, LCK. The first iteration only has LPL characters, so you'll be winning the LPL ideally and maybe Worlds. I don't know. That's the idea that I thought that the game was going to be. But it looks like that might not be the case. To put this in sports game terminology, it looks like that this game is going to be much less like Football Manager and much more like FIFA. So there's this Reddit thread that got put up today where it said the new management game for League of Legends Esports will just be a gacha game. Info from the Chinese website. For those of you unaware, gacha games, I believe, are like those, they're the kind of loot boxy gambling games that are particularly popular on mobile platforms, and they're specifically very popular in Eastern countries, China, Korea, etc. These are games that a fair comparison would be to say that they have loot box elements, but the difference between a regular loot boxy game like Overwatch or Hearthstone and a gacha game is that there is no shame whatsoever in how much it's trying to rip consumers off. Now, this is the link that was provided from the Reddit poster, which I think this is QQ, which is like the Chinese version of a million different things. But anyway, it's produced by Tencent, which of course owns Riot Games, and yeah, it doesn't look super good. It's probably worth mentioning that I'm just using Google Translate here. Ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen, aber kein Chinesisch. So I can't speak Chinese, but we can assume that these translations are a little bit accurate. What apparently seems to be happening here is a sort of pre-registration, potentially for an alpha or beta or something, and depending on when you join, or I don't know, some sort of pre-packaged thing that you might buy, you're getting different bonuses. You're getting a primary energy drink, intermediate energy drink, point coupons, as well as gold coins. This is stuff that kind of sounds like this game's going to be fairly filled with microtransactions, but that's not even the worst of it, right? I wouldn't mind that much if this was Football Manager that had microtransactions, something like Out of the Park Baseball, if you are familiar with that game. I would not mind that so much. But the problem is that this doesn't really look like it's going to be a sports management game at all. What scares me is that here, I don't know how you unlock this, but it says you can unlock a mysterious SSR player. Now, unlocking players, what does that sound like to you? To me, that sounds like Ultimate Teams. Now, quick history for those of you unaware, or for those of you who haven't played sports games. Most sports games out there for the long period of time from the 90s to the 2000s, they focused on just emulating sports in video games. So FIFA was a game that allowed you to play a virtual version of soccer. Madden was a game that allowed you to play a virtual version of NFL football. And there were elements of sports management in franchise modes and stuff like that. But at some point, I don't know when it was, around the 2010s, EA was the first one to introduce this, Ultimate Team. This is what Ultimate Team is. So Ultimate Team, it's rather than choosing a franchise, a sports team, and playing a game with them, instead you build your own team with individual player cards, which that sounds pretty cool, right? So here's some sample player cards, for example. Here is Neymar, Royce, it looks like a Team of the Season or Team of the Year Felipe Anderson, where you can see each card, they have individual stats, different numbers for their pace, their shooting, their passing, their dribbling, etc., etc. And it also has a team and their nation, whatever team they play for and whatever nation they have. So what you're trying to do in these Ultimate Team games is have players that you will put together in sort of a puzzly way, where you want to have players that are either on the same team next to each other, or players that are from the same country next to each other, or players that are playing within the same league as each other. So right here, Son and who is that, Pogba, they have a connection because they both play in the EPL. And this is all really cool and fun, right? I mean, it might sound like a really fun idea, but the problem is how you get these players. Each one of these individual players you have to buy. And you can't buy them just straight up with money. You have to buy a card pack and then have a chance at getting certain characters. And of course, the better characters are more difficult to pack from a pack. And then there's, of course, various different special cards you can get. Like right here is a legend. Here are apparently Team of the Seasons or Team of the Years, a Team of the Year Marcelo, Team of the Year whoever. And you can see why EA made this game mode. This is something that they injected into FIFA, which, you know, in FIFA, it makes sense. It's kind of fun because players have different leagues that they play in different countries. They also come from different nations, and they're constantly changing teams. But then, not only did they have FUT, which is FIFA Ultimate Team, but then EA also created MUT, which is Madden Ultimate Team. This makes way less sense because there's only one competitive American football league in the world, and I don't know, like, I guess EA just started injecting this into every single game they play. Do they do this for NHL as well? Is there a nut that you can play? Anyway, this is something that, unfortunately, it seems as though that's what Riot is doing with the League of Legends Esports Management game. The more I go back and look at some of this art, the more I'm beginning to notice, oh, these are 5 players from different teams all put together. Okay, apparently you're unlocking individual players that you also can't buy straight up. And all these different unlockables, the energy drinks, the gold coins, apparently Assistant Professor Yushuang. There's also a trailer that came out for this game a while ago that I'll go ahead and show you guys some elements from it, where this, we obviously cannot Google Translate, so I can't read a lot of it. But again, what you're noticing is all these different players from these different teams that are being put together in the same game. And this really bums me out. This makes me really sad because rather than having an esports management game that's about the idea of managing an esports team, it seems like there is just a gamified version of FIFA Ultimate Team that has now been injected into League of Legends esports, which, you know, if they had both of them, I would not mind that at all. But the fact that it kind of feels like this is all they have is frustrating. And again, if you guys remember the video I made a little while ago where I was talking about sports management games, the thing that really makes a sports management game fun is the fact that you don't have to play it. Like, you don't have to play individual games themselves. If you are playing Out of the Park or MLB The Show, you are likely simming the entire baseball season. You're not playing through the 162 individual games. If you're playing Madden, you are simming through most of the season or simming through individual games, or at least large parts of individual games. Same deal with Football Manager. I mean, you can yell at your players, but at the end of the day, you're not playing the game itself. But here, this looks like it's a big focus of playing the game yourself. And then, I don't know, I guess you're strategizing, you're telling your players what to do. But what was that? That looked like, yeah, I can't read that. I don't know, are those summoner spells or something? I mean, it looks like you're doing individual actions in game, and it's not hard to imagine, oh, give this player a sip of their energy drink. It's only $5. They'll play better for you, you know? That's not something I would really like to see, but, you know, I'm starting to, this is frustrating, man. Like, I can get it. I understand if Riot is, you know, if they're moving into other games and if they are especially catering certain games, like this one seems to be catered towards the Chinese audience, which is the largest demographic that League of Legends has. It kind of makes sense to say, yeah, you know, go ahead, introduce some gacha games, introduce some stuff that's maybe a little bit money hungry, a little bit, I don't know, a little bit cheesy and just loot boxy. But I can't help but feel frustrated after seeing how few microtransactions and loot box elements there are in Legends of Runeterra, as well as kind of being promised that this is a sports management game. I mean, that's how Riot described it. I'm kind of still holding out a little bit of hope because here in this initial first release that came out 3 weeks ago, Riot says the reach and depth of the LPL provides an ideal environment to launch the first League of Legends game in the sports manager genre. It says that this is a sports manager game, not a FIFA style game where you're just buying players. Ugh. I don't know, man. I can't help but feel pretty frustrated about this, because this is something that has so much potential. And honestly, I should give Riot the benefit of the doubt here, because if we're being real, I don't think that there's really been anything that Riot has made that I've been entirely disappointed in so far, for the most part. I mean, that's not to say that I don't hate champions in League of Legends or despise Teemo, but when it comes to actual products that Riot has put out, they've been very skittish to actually show anything until it is worth showing, like that League of Legends card game, which turned into Legends of Runeterra, I'm assuming. That was in production for like years. I mean, I think we were teased about that like 4 years ago, 5 years ago or something. That's been around for a really long time. And similarly with the fighting game that's been announced like 3 years ago, that's still something we haven't even seen much of, just a 2-second clip from the League of Legends 10-year anniversary live stream. I feel like Riot has done such a good job in the past of not rushing out unfinished products and not putting anything out that they would be ashamed to have their name on. But, oh, please, I really hope this is better than what I'm assuming it is right now, because this has so much potential to be awesome. Maybe it's too much to imagine that this can turn into a Football Manager style game, but it could still be good. You know, maybe this is stupid positive attitude, whatever, but this could be something like Out of the Park. I'm pretty sure Out of the Park Baseball is a game where very similarly, it has the depth of Football Manager. It has baseball in all sorts of different iterations, with all the different minor league teams, with all the different international league teams. I mean, even the countries that don't know how to play baseball at all, it has the Baseball Bundesliga. And there's tons of different pieces of depth and ways to play that, but there is still some elements of microtransactions. There's like a fantasy draft thing that is very similar to Ultimate Team that you can use in Out of the Park. So, you know, maybe there is a little bit of a hybrid model that could be used and that LoL Esports Manager could model itself after. I just hope Riot really understands the appeal of these games, because the appeal does not lie in coaching a team while the game is being played. I mean, that's not how League of Legends works at all. You can't coach players while they're being played in the LCS. You know, once a coach sets the pick and ban, they have to go backstage, right? And then just, you know, watch and see how everything unfolds. It's way more exciting to do that, though. It's way more exciting to focus on all of the non-gameplay things, building up a team, seeing how they perform, and then changing your management style, changing your tactics in between matches and whatnot. And I just hope it's better. I hope this isn't quite what I think it is. But I don't know. I guess we'll see in the future. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, I apologize that today's video was a little bit disappointing. A little bit frustrating for any of you who like those sports management games. Let me know if you guys want to see some more Football Manager. I've kind of put the brakes on our Kaiserslautern episodes because, of course, Football Manager 20 is coming out, and I kind of want to play some of that. I'm also kind of considering playing some NCAA 14 now that the NCAA ruled that thing, where hopefully we'll be getting more NCAA games. And I would like to do some more sports management games on other games and other sports if you guys are interested for that. But anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks again for watching this video, even if it wasn't the happiest. Good luck in solo queue, and have a wonderful day.